Yes, yes, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, Today we're going to speak on a topic that I want to say.
Wait. Start over. No, you can cut it out. Okay. You better cut it.
So today we're going to speak about a topic that I won't say that it don't affect the world, but I know that it affects people of color at a very, very, very. I won't even say very, 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 but I know that it affects us at a large.
An alarming rate.
Well, you know what?
I didn't introduce myself.
Oh, once again, we want to start. So today, today's topic is mental health,
Yes.
and we know as people of color, a lot of us suffer from it. A lot of us don't want to attack it or address it. But I want to applaud you for just wanting to really elaborate on how you deal with mental health. What's your name?
My name is DeeDee Blue.
DeeDee Blue, Blue. Tell me a bit more about you.
Well, I've always been recognized as the around the way girl. Cool, down to earth, very humble, um, loving, uh, passionate, compassionate, you know. Um, yeah.
And with that being said, when you think of mental health, what immediately comes to your mind?
Me.
Right. And that was deep. That was deep. Regarding just you yourself, right? Uh, Tell me a bit more about your diagnosis.
Okay. Well, um, my diagnosis is bipolar manic depressive 1. Um, I have been diagnosed since 2005 after the death of my twin brother. And it's been a roller coaster ride. But I'm grateful to have been diagnosed, and I'm grateful that I'm on another journey in this diagnosis where I'm more in control. Yeah, I have a grip on it. I could say that.
Can you tell me a bit more about your first episode in regards to experiencing mania?
Okay. Well, with bipolar manic depressive 1, you have the mania side, and then you have the depressive side. So you get major extremes on either side. So, really quick, when I was initially diagnosed, uh, it came to as a surprise, which now I see as um, I have a better understanding as to how it transpired and how it took place. But initially, being diagnosed after my twin passed away, I was having a lot of irrational thoughts, and I was not myself, what I remember myself to be. I was very aggressive. Um, I was very spontaneous with a lot of things, and um, I put myself in a lot of dangerous situations, just not aware that I was losing control of my mind. And yeah, so my first diagnosis, my first episode, you could say, came about maybe 2 months after my brother passed away, 2, 3 months after my brother passed away. I was in a situation where I was acting irrational. I knew something was wrong, and when I have manic episodes, I can remember them, but I can't control them when I'm in them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So when we first found out that, that there was something going on, that was in 2005, and I got into a little trouble, and I was out of state, and I had to be taken back to New York, or brought back to New York, and I immediately was placed in a psychiatric ward for about 30 days or so, and that's where my initial diagnosis came from.
So when I want to be real meticulous on what I say, when you officially got back into a somewhat of a functional mindset, could you kind of describe what was going on in your mind at that moment?
When I got into a functional, you mean like once I realized that there was something wrong, and now I'm going in between mania and sanity and
Right.
oh wow. First, I would like to say that it took a minute for me to get to the place where I could feel sane. That makes sense. It took some time to get into a space where I could feel like, I'm getting a grip, and it was in and out, in and out, in and out, because after being diagnosed, I would try medications and have certain side effects and things like that, and I would stop taking the medication, just rebelling like, I'm in control of this thing, and there's nothing wrong with me, and I would have episodes where, like I said, it's kind of hard to explain it, but anyone that has this diagnosis could probably feel me on. It's a constant battle with yourself. It's a constant, like I still get days where I'm like, okay, let me check myself. Am I acting a little irrational? Am I not sleeping? It's just a lot of components to it.
But that was, so I like this. I like where we're going with this. At this current moment, that's where you at with it. But in the embryo stages of experiencing these irrational behaviors, and your mind this being everywhere, how long did you think it took you to really accept that you had a mental health illness?
I think maybe after like the 10th hospitalization, like it was a constant battle to own it.
Was that months? Was that years?
Years, definitely years. It was a constant battle to own that there's actually something that's called or considered a chemical imbalance, which can control or which can alter your state of mind, and things of that nature. So it took me some time where I finally was like, let me take this medication, let me see this psychiatrist, let me go to these therapies, let me improve my health, let me, it took a lot of time. First of all, I lost the other half of myself when I lost my twin. And I literally, when they say that you could lose your mind, I lost my mind. Like, I can't even put it into words as to how much of a disability and it was just, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I just would like to say that it's been 16 years and I'm still, picking up the remnants of my previous self and putting it together and holding on to it and nurturing it, knowing that I'm coming back to some sense of normalcy. because it's been
throughout those stages. How was the support regarding your family?
oh, my family. It's all about me and my family. My family went through it. They really went through it. I know my mom, at a certain point, she had said to me that, I lost my son and I don't want to lose you too. So even though I was still going through the episodes of rebelling and going through the hospital since, I always held on to that. And I think that eventually that kind of sunk in, that I didn't want her to go through any more pain. So there came a point where I started listening. Like, I started taking the medication. I started, like I said, doing the therapies and, really taking control of my life, because I didn't want my mom to go through any more pain. Even though the way I felt then, not so much now, but the way I felt then, I wanted to be with my twin. Like, I really didn't care. So that's why I was just doing a lot of things that were dangerous and that could have really took me out of here, I was never homicidal. I can't say suicidal because I definitely was in that space, but I just didn't care. But my family, they walked it with me, and a lot of my close friends. I mean, if you're still considered a friend after everything that I put everyone through, I'm grateful for you, because it was a lot. It was a lot.
So a lot of times people don't understand that. I want to go back to your stages of, experiencing the manic side, right? Can you kind of paint a picture, give a description on what is it that you remember and what's enhanced and what's not enhanced? Why I ask that, because I've heard from a myriad of individuals that during those stages, there's this euphoric type of feel.
Okay, so what I would like to say about mania, I love it. I love mania. I think that even though it's disruptive and you're not sleeping and you're grandiose and you're not what people consider your normal self, I would embrace mania at the times that I would go through it, because I was my most creative. I could solve the problems of the world. I just seen everything as fixable, and I was in a constant euphoric state. And for me, my mania was loving really hard on my family, making moves that I felt would garner money. And I would, in my mania, myself and my twin had a business when he passed away. So in my mania, in my mind, he was traveling the world. I'm here doing promotions. I'm just in the thick of everything. I'm trying to get everybody to see, what I'm seeing, even though what I'm seeing was being created in my mind. He wasn't here. He was already dead, excuse me, but he was already gone, and he wasn't traveling the world. I wasn't making big moves. I actually, in my mania, spent so much money, because in your mania, you're grandiose, there's a lot of people that are bipolar that are rich, and I'm sure when they come down off of that mania or get some sense of balance, they're like, what the hell did I do? But,
give me that what the hell did I do moment.
The what the hell did I do moment is when you look at that account and you're like, or when you're, when you're driving 100 miles an hour down the highway and you get pulled over and arrested.
Give me your largest purchase.
I've you know, I've, you know, it's been a roller coaster. Like it's definitely been a ride. It's
Give me your
definitely been a
largest
ride.
purchase.
My largest purchase. My largest purchase was a 2002 S500 Mercedes Benz cash, $13,000. But let me tell you this. So really quick, I buy this car out of state, and this is how your mind is working. When I bought the car, I'm like, oh, it's nothing. I got the money, blah 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 blah. Pay the money or whatever. And in the interim of that, I get back to New York with the car, and when I ended up going right into the hospital after I bought the car, and stayed there for a few. It was like no, it was a couple of weeks or whatever, and then I'm back balanced. I'm on medication. I'm I'm treading lightly or whatever, and then I realized like, damn, I bought this $13,000 car, and this car got to get registered and insured. When I went to DMV, I almost fell through the floor. I had to pay taxes, over $2,000 in taxes and all of this money, and I was just like, oh my God. But the purchase was already made, so I made the best of it and kept it moving. But yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
In regards to the medications, I've heard and I've experienced a myriad of individuals that will say, I don't like to incorporate, all these types of medications in my system, and have tried other tactics, right, to cope or deal with the illness.
Yeah.
Can you give me some stages of your life where you've seen a plus and then you've seen a con in regards to taking the medications?
Well, I could tell you this. Finding the right medication is a lot of trial and error. And anyone that has a diagnosis that for any mental disability, whether it's bipolar depression or schizophrenia or any type of mental ailment, any type of mental situation, it takes a lot to figure it out. It's not cookie cut. It's not, they're acting irrational, so give them this, or they're hearing voices, give them that, or you gotta. It's a lot to play with or whatever. And to be honest, I went through a lot of medications, and it's not cool. I was on one medication that I couldn't even take care of my son at the time that I was diagnosed. He was 5. Yeah, he was 5. And one of the medications that they initially put me on had me like a dope fiend. Like I was constantly nodding off. I couldn't take care of him at all. I was nodding off. And now that I kind of am familiar with the medications and such, I realized that they had me on a super duper dose. And I think they did that because my mania is super duper aggressive. Like I'm very aggressive. I'm already a subtle alpha female, but I already have that personality that can be a lot. At times, I'm super that, So I think that they were just trying to calm the beast in me by giving me super doses of this medication, but they didn't want to take me off, and I stopped taking it, and here we go again. Another cycle, another hospital stint, So I'm finally 7 years. I've been with the same medications, and they finally have me feeling like I can call myself. Like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't they haven't started affecting my health in a negative way. And I know that long-term usage of a lot of prescriptions eventually start to affect you, but I'm grateful that He's good to me. I'm managing. I'm taking it. I haven't had a hospitalization in over 7 years, and I'm grateful. But the medications is serious.
Serious. So I'm glad that we kind of elaborated on, the effects of the medications and the dosages. But I want to ask this: in the 7 years, right now that you have maintained your intake, this regimen is working for you. Have you experienced, right, depression, or any other emotional feelings that when you begin to feel it, you say, I thought that medications were supposed to heal that.
Medications don't heal jack. Medications keep you subdued, but it takes you to be conscious of what you're dealing with. And I could say that I haven't had a hospitalization in 7 years, but I can't say that I didn't spend time in depression. No mania, like I haven't really had the mania, but you're always checking for mania though, because one sign of mania is not sleeping. And I have had nights where I just couldn't turn my brain off and I'm up, but then I'm nervous. I'm like, oh my God, please don't, I don't want to go into a manic episode or whatever. And it'll calm down and, I'll be okay or whatever. But I could say in the last 7 years, I have had the depression part. Not so low where I'm suicidal or homicidal or anything of that nature, but low enough to where I can recognize it and say, all right, D, come on, you gotta shake the shit. You gotta do something. So at those times I would, call a friend or, talk to my therapist, my psychiatrist, let them know how I'm feeling. They might up the dose of medication a little bit or whatever. But I think that you really have to add you into the mix. Like you gotta add you into the mix. You gotta care about how you're affecting your family and, care about how you're affecting yourself. But I say family because remember, I lost my twin, so I could have cared less, and I still have part of that in me. And I know I can't stay there, and I'm not saying this in a, like I want to die tomorrow type of way, but when God sees fit, and if that was to happen, or when that is to happen, I'm still overjoyed at the fact that I will be able to see him again, So when I say that I need to, control it and do what I have to do while I'm here, I'm thinking about my family first, because I don't want them to go through any more pain or, lose me, when it's something that I can control, So I hope that answers your question. I kind of,
it's all right. It's all right. Off. Do you think that having kids sort of became a good coping mechanism for you?
I feel like God knew what he was doing when he did what he did. When I had my son, I prayed for a son and I got him. And my son was my anchor to keep me here after my twin passed away. Because if I didn't have my son, there was nothing that anybody could say, do, not a person, not anybody but my son that could keep me here, Like I said, God knew that I needed him. He knew that I needed him. Because there was more for me to do, even though I didn't see it, and I didn't want to own that responsibility. Having my boy just kept me, it kept me. And I'm grateful for his life. I'm grateful. They thought I couldn't even have kids when I got pregnant, but like I said, God is the ultimate. illustrator. He just illustrated and orchestrated that whole situation. So having him was definitely truly a blessing, and I say a blessing for everybody but me to a certain degree, because I wanted to leave. I wanted to go. I wished at that time that I was successful when I tried to commit suicide. But, God is in control, and I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose. And, to answer your question, as far as my children, if I had have been successful and left this world, I would have put a lot of pain on my son, and I wouldn't have had my beautiful daughter, who is just a ray of sunshine, and she's one of the lights of my life. Both of my children are. My daughter is something seriously special, and I'm grateful that God is the all-being, and He knows what we need when we need it. So my son was my anchor to keep me here, to keep trying and putting forth the effort. My daughter has been my balance. And it's funny because I was a twin to a boy. I have a son and I have a daughter. I only have 2 children, and they're like my balance. And, another thing I wanted to say was, with having my daughter, I didn't take any psych medications the whole time I was pregnant with her, and I was balanced. Like, I went to my therapies and everything, and I was balanced. And it's amazing how you start to realize, like, chemicals, your mind is affected by chemicals. Like, there are certain endorphins and, like, different mechanisms to the brain that it's a thin line. Could have you in insanity or have you sane. Like, it's just amazing. But I hope I answered your question, because this is a very serious topic for me, and it's constantly a battle, and I know there's a lot of people that suffer, and I think that one of the motivations of me even doing this interview, or, I'm not a celebrity or anything like that, and I don't have anything invested in anything except wanting to, like I said, I feel like God has me here for a reason, and I feel like if there's anybody that just needs someone to understand where they're at, what they've been through, what they're going through, or whatever, I could say that I've been there, and I'm coming out of the other side. Like I said, it's been 16 years since my initial diagnosis, since my twin passed away, and I'm just finally feeling like I have a grip, and I just want to be there for anybody else that may feel like they need somebody to recognize and just feel them on what they're going through.
Would you be willing to, speak about it a bit more to individuals that do suffer and have not that much of an understanding about mental health illness?
I would. I would. I've always been a great listener and a great problem solver and a friend. Well, I try to be the best friend I could be. Sometimes I fall short, but my heart is always in the right place. Yeah, it's crazy because there's a lot of people that are suffering. Like, I see it every day on social media, friends and family, and certain posts and stuff like that. And it's amazing that I'm in a space where, I could see that God definitely controls your destiny in your life and the things that you do. Like, He's there. And yeah, I would love to be a support to anyone that may feel like they can't handle it, because it's possible. You have to definitely pray to whoever and whatever entity that you pray to, or whatever. And you definitely have to be invested in yourself in getting better. So using the supports that you have, trying the medications, this trial and error, eventually you'll find something that works for you. Um, you're eating, exercising, taking a walk, things of that nature. You just have to invest in you and find your why. Like, why do I want to live? Why do I need to be here? Why do I, feel like I have to do this, And my why came from God blessing me with my children. Because if I didn't have my children, I wouldn't be here. That's real talk.
Besides living with your diagnoses, what else is it that you're currently dealing with as well regarding your health?
Well, if anybody has watched my previous video, I'm dealing with heart condition, also congestive heart failure, and I have a defibrillator device to protect me from sudden death, which is it's just crazy, but I'm blessed. I'm blessed, and I'm still here for a reason. And like I said, you have to, be proactive in living. Find your why, attach yourself to it, and just keep pushing. I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about what's wrong. I try to spend a lot of time thinking about what I can do right, what I can make right, do right, And yeah, there's some stuff going on, but I'm not gonna stay in that space. I'm gonna, keep striving and keep trying and keep, not even trying, like doing life, just living and, making the best out of everything that I'm dealt in, every situation that I'm part of.
In closing, is there anything else that you want to let the world know about DeeDee Blue?
Anything else I want the world to know about DeeDee Blue? Well, when I